Good evening. It's Wednesday night. This is Keith Hooper here in Central California, and as always, this is our Wednesday night product experience and training call. We want to put the caveats in here as we start that the products from Immunotec research do not cure anything, but as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine, and simply the most important food you can use is Immunical and Immunical Platinum, as well as our other great products, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us this evening. We're also joined by our good friend Dr. Barry White out of Ontario, Canada. Good evening, Dr. White.
Good evening, Keith.
Well, we're heading into the season, and that season is the bathing suit season and the allergy season, and they kind of coincide. Isn't that interesting? So the thing I wanted to talk about tonight, Dr. White, is a couple things. One is the allergies, and the other one is getting in shape for the summertime. And I know that some of you up in Canada do not have our on-the-go product yet. And only thing I can tell you is I feel so sorry for you, okay? But you will be getting it very soon. But I want to speak just a couple of minutes to this particular product and what I'm seeing with it now that we've been using it here for a while. And it is really something that we can talk to somebody and let me simply ask you, what are you doing to be thinner and younger next year? And that's really what we're talking about with this on-the-go product when it's used. If you go to xyztools.com, you'll see my recipe that Sandra did such an awesome job putting up there on how to make ice cream. Okay, and I don't know about any of you, but I'm an ice cream lover. Okay, and unfortunately, it loves me, but it doesn't go away. It hangs on me. The beautiful thing about this product is using it as an ice cream, as a dessert, or not as a dessert, but as a treat. Honestly, throughout the day, a couple of times a day, and it's really quite interesting if it's used that way. Dr. White, is if you use this product, the on the go. If you make a shake out of it, or you make the ice cream or whatever, to me it's worth the effort to make the ice cream because I just really enjoy that. But what I'm finding interesting with it, Dr. White, is when I use it as a treat. And what I'm doing with it, so everybody knows, is I'm using it about 11:15 or 11:30 in the morning. I'm treating myself to some ice cream that I've made with on the go. And I'm treating myself to some ice cream again around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm using that, and what I am noticing is that it has a real positive effect for curbing the appetite. And as all of us know, all you have to do to lose weight. This may be coming as a giant surprise to some of you, but the reality to losing weight is simply making healthy food choices. And I can tell you that that's really easy to do if you're not hungry. And what I find with this product is it allows you to make those healthy food choices. Because you're not hungry. Because what it does is it actually helps I'm not going to say it curbs the appetite. It takes the edge off of it. And I mean, I don't know what the scale will tell me yet, Dr. White, but I can tell you what my body is telling me. This is working. I'm excited about this.
You're actually feeling the difference?
Well, let's put it this way: the belt tells the story, right? The belt tells the story. And the type of belt that I like to wear, I'm going to have to order a new one. Okay? And I think that's a very good thing.
And you're trying to say that this is the tail of the tape?
Yes, the tail of the tape is a good way to put it. But what I want to encourage everybody is whether you're here in the U.S. and those of you in Canada that have not gotten this yet, I just want to set the expectations or set what you can expect. What you can expect is when you use this product. Now, if you wait to take it until you're hungry, okay, it's not going to do a great deal. Okay, because there's not that many calories in it, and there's not enough fat in it. So it's not going to. If you're hungry, if you wait until you're hungry to use it, you're not going to get the benefits that I'm getting. Okay, so what I would suggest is you take it 45 minutes or so before the two major meals of the day. the lunch meal and the dinner meal, and the dinner meal I think you can take it around. Because we usually don't have dinner till 7:30 or so in the evening, but I'm taking it around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I just got to tell you, it's well worth the effort to make the ice cream. And being able to sit there and do it, because some of you may know that years ago the company had another product that was worked amazingly well for me. I lost 50 pounds with it. Okay, and to say that I was sad to see that product go is a misunderstanding. It would be putting it mildly. I believe that this will be as effective long term as that product was, Dr. White. I think this is going to move up there right along with my Extra Sharp as being my favorite products, as Immunocal Platinum being the most important product.
Well, Keith, can I ask a question? Who do you think that the on-the-go shake is for?
Everybody. Because there's a lot of things that are there. I had a conversation with a young lady today out of Las Vegas. Her name will remain anonymous. Her name is Janice Miller. Okay, but Janice doesn't need to lose any weight, but yet it's a great product. She uses it because she was sharing with me that she doesn't eat breakfast. Okay, she's not a breakfast person, but she's able to use her Immunocal Platinum in this product, and it is having an effect. So that's why when somebody looks at this product, once again, we talk about it often. What does Immunocal actually do for the body? It normalizes the immune system. What does this product do? It normalizes your appetite, whatever it happens to be. And that's what I think we're going to find over time. I think we're going to find that this product is really going to be a very, very exciting addition to our product line, Dr. White.
So for younger people, let's say they're at school, let's say, this is sort of just an extra thing that they can keep it in their backpack or wherever it might be, a bottle of water, a scoop, and take care of some quick hunger, because often the kids in school are, we call it, they don't have much time, so just put it in. Or if a person is now working at the office or wherever it might be, just a quick snack. So that's that age group. Then the next age group, of course, is the ones that you're mentioning, the ones that need to be trimmer. So that's another group. And then the older group, seniors, do not get enough to eat. They're cutting back. So they need extra vitamins and so on. So for that particular group, that's well within their range as well. So I guess you're talking about, everybody. Yeah, that sounds right.
Everybody, and I encourage everybody to think about this. Those of us that are a little bit on the older side, okay. If you go back and you look it up, you can. For those of you that are younger, I encourage you to do the same thing. Go back and look at some pictures, particularly yearbooks from the 50s and 60s. Okay, there weren't any fat kids. There aren't any. Okay, what we thought were kids when I was in high school, what we thought somebody was overweight. Okay, you would look at somebody would look at me and say, well, gee, you're a little bit overweight. Okay, I'm 5'11" and 180 pounds in high school, and I was considered to be one of the fat kids. Okay, at 5'11" and 180 pounds, are you kidding me? Okay, but that's the reality of then. Why? Because people are starving to death today, and that's really what we're talking about here is good nutrition, Dr. White.
Yeah, and it looks, just looking at actually, you're making me salivate. That's the problem. We don't have it yet, and we have to wait until we get the chains off our tires. I mean, that's what you're talking about, right? That's a long time to wait. So with bated breath, anticipation, we'll see how accurate you are in all this process. Anyway.
That's right. What I love is prove me wrong. And, to that point, Dr. White, the other thing I wanted to talk about, there's two more things I want to talk about. As we're looking at the time of the year that everybody wants to lose weight and actually have something that's easy to do, like I say, to lose weight is very, very simple. All you have to do is make healthy food choices, and I can tell you that's very easy to do if you're not hungry, and right up there with next to impossible if you are hungry. Okay, you just can't do it. I used to always talk about that. People say all you do is make healthy food choices, and that's true. All you have to do is, just eat a peach. I don't want a peach. I want a pizza. Okay, well, now with this, I'm back to the point where a peach is fine. I don't need a pizza. Okay, and that's what I'm looking at here. But Dr. White, the seasons are changing. I've actually got roses that are starting to bloom here. In fact, today I got a couple 3 buds on one of our rose trees that's starting to push already. So that starts our allergy season. The famous time of the year when let's see, what are allergies? An abnormal immune response, right, Dr. White?
Yeah, the body's not ready for whatever they're breathing in. And it can be any kind of thing. It can even be foods you're get allergic to. But it really gets triggered. And that's the whole big deal about this. We get triggered. And then, of course, once it's triggered, we're in trouble, right? It continues to bug us and so on until we can, get the season clear. But this season goes from, well, right now up here in Canada, we have snow that's melting, at least in most places, and that's snow mold. And the snow mold is really quite a difficult thing. Any place where there is snow, there's mold underneath that, and that's hard to go. Then you get the grass starting, and then you're allergic to that. Then you get the other things, the pollen from the trees. Boy, we got an almost endless supply of things that our bodies are not well equipped to handle. So we need something. And that something is, well, Immunocal, right?
Well, that's because, once again, that was the first thing that Sandra noticed, because Sandra had terrible allergies. Okay, and we're not going to bore everybody with the story, but I mean, we're talking about when you develop an allergy to the allergy medication, your allergies are pretty severe. Okay, and that's where she was at, and I mean, it was awful, and literally within a matter of days, she could tell a difference in her allergies when we started with Immunocal, and and she suffered from allergies 12 months out of the year, so because she was literally allergic to everything imaginable. Okay, so, and yes, that included me, for those of you that were thinking it. But anyway, but that's what we saw create effect. So we want to talk about the allergies and the point that is there. But I also had a couple of questions. One of them that came in was regarding kidney issues. And, I'm going to get my good friend Tim Weber back on the call here. I was with him this last Thursday. And Tim had developed a infection in around his heart and kidneys, and he lost over 50% of his kidney function, and it was severely damaged, and the doctor said, well, the good news is you got 50% kidney damage, so the good news of that is you have the same amount of kidney function as a person with one good kidney. Okay, but the point was he still had both kidneys and still only had 50% of function. When I was with him on Thursday, he's going back to the doctor this week or next week, but he said he can tell the differences because he no longer has to use Lasik, okay, and his kidney function was back up to about 75 or 80% the last time they did the test. He fully expects him to be back above 90% kidney function, which the doctor thought was never going to occur, Dr. White. So, I mean, it's just really, really such a blessing what this product does for people.
And that was how much?
2 packs a day.
And that was sufficient to sort of show those kind of results. And it was just Immunocal, or was it Platinum?
The Platinum. He was using the Platinum 2 a day.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let him share his story, have his brother Paul come on and share, if we can, where Paul is at, because Paul is one of those. Well, we'll just leave that for another call there when Paul comes on. But we also had the email. So we had the kidney issues, and then we also had the email I sent you earlier today, I think from Judy Skipstead, regarding
polycystic.
Yes. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, and these things. Years ago, we're talking about the newest things on the block. This whole function, this was not a common thing at all. When my 10-year-old son developed that when he was 10 years old, the doctor at Philadelphia Children's Hospital said it's so rare that it's like having a zebra and it's not cancerous. It's like having a zebra in a herd of horses. You just don't expect it. So here, the whole aspect of what is rare, but now it's becoming much more common. And that just goes back to the diet question and things that are missing in our diet. That we keep commenting back on that. There are things that are missing in our diet that must be supplied, and if we don't, we pay the penalty. And one of those is the bonded cysteine part. And I was, the whole question of, out of the 20 amino acids, and this sounds fantastic, but out of the 20 amino acids, our body makes 100,000 discretely different proteins. 100,000. And of that number, 30% depend on bonded cysteine. Everything to do with our pancreas, everything to do, that's a big thing, digestive enzymes and insulin and so on, a whole host of things. And they all depend on the bonded cysteine. That one thing being missing gives rise to a whole bunch of other aspects that need correcting. And so it's more of a surprise to even find this showing up, but it's, as I say, becoming more common. But again, all you're trying to do is give the body the nutrition it needs, and one of those nutrition pieces is the Immunocal and the platinum things, which, and in the case of cysts or those kind of extra growths and so on, they tend to shrink when you have Immunocal or the platinum. They shrink, and shrink is good because then that means that you don't have to treat them. So in our particular case, my son is now 54, and it was 10 years old. So that's 44 years ago, and 22 years of that, he had the Immunocal, and now combination of Immunocal and platinum, and that's been his mechanism to keep abreast of things and keep everything under control. And that's happening for like 44 years, with the last 22 years with Immunocal. So I have great expectations that you can, let's say, handle it with a good amount of again, I prefer to have the 4, 2 plus 2, or even 4 platinum, and I think we can get some good results. I was probably a bit long-winded that time, wasn't I?
No, that's all right. So once again, we go back and we look at the point. I guess Hippocrates was right that 2,500 years ago when he said, "Let food be thy medicine," and that's what we've seen all these years. 23 years we've been here with Immunotec. We've seen this story. We've seen this movie, as they say, okay, over and over again with different people, and we're going to get some new people coming on sharing some absolutely what from the person from the outside looking in would be saying, wow, that is so amazing. And yet what we know here is it's the expected results. And that's what I think is most fascinating, Dr. White. Well, before I open up the call, I know we've got people that have got thoughts, comments, and questions tonight, but before I do that, 2 things. One, if anybody's where it's noisy, please mute your phone now before I open up the lines here in a moment. So, either *6 your phone, or if you got a mute button, mute it. If there's noise in the background, if there's a couple of people on phones close together, we get a lot of noise. So go ahead and take care of that. And then the other thing, Dr. White, any other thoughts, comments before I open them up?
No, but again, when Immunotec brings out new products, they always have a high value for them, and in terms of anticipating what they will do, I always know that they're going to do something magnificent. So it's not a surprise to me that when you comment that you're already seeing or feeling good results from the on the go. That doesn't surprise me. That's what I expect, because that's what Immunotec does.
And what I would suggest is that people send an email to John Solider and tell him to make sure that he brings some with him to the Toronto meeting that's upcoming. So that way
just in case he doesn't come.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming, so he can put it in his suitcase. He can bring a pair of tennis shoes and a tie, and just make sure there's enough room for the on the go. All right. Well, I'm going to open up the lines here. So, All right, the lines are open now, and let me go to Judy Skipstead first. Judy, I know you had some thoughts and comments and questions that you wanted answered tonight.
Yes. Well, one of my people asked me about if Immunocal could help pancreatic cancer.
Okay.
Is that person on the line, by the way, by any chance? Pancreatic cancer is very serious, and usually people don't recover from it. What we've seen in terms of, we have seen some, like maybe 10%, 20% using Immunocal do recover. Recover, I mean, they're free from the cancer. And then the others, it gives them longer life. So, mixed feelings kind of thing, because it's one of the serious ones. Like liver cancer, it's serious.
Yeah, so the main thing that we know is that Immunocal, without a doubt, will give you a better quality of life. And that's I don't think Tim is on here tonight. Tim Weber, are you on by any chance? Okay. His brother Paul. Anyway, we'll be sharing just to give it so everybody understands. Once again, not that this is going to do this for everything, but Paul was the doctors told him to go home. There was nothing that could be done, and and he was in the hospital and unable to get out of the hospital bed, unable to use the facilities there, the bathrooms and whatever, unable to get about. They got him started on Immunocal while he was in the hospital because the doctor said nothing to hurt because we're not going to do anything else. And 4 days later, Paul went home. And from then, it's been now, I guess, a little over 2 weeks, and every day he's better than he was the day before. And he's actually back out driving. So anyway, but so once again, the thing that we tell with everybody, here's what the thing that we would say, Judy, without any exception, what we've seen with 23 years. Without a doubt, it'll give you a better quality of life. That's the bottom line. Okay. And whether it's pancreatic cancer or it's just the fact that you want to live longer, okay, you're healthy and you think you're healthy and you don't think there's anything wrong with you, that's the best time to start on Immunocal, when there's nothing wrong with you, because there probably is and you just don't know about it. And that's what we want to do. But like I say, we have had results, to Dr. White's point, 10 to 20% of the people get what most people look at as the doctors would say it's an amazing result. And that's what we would claim and try with this person as well. Does that help, Judy?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. Who else has thought, comments, or questions tonight? Don't be bashful.
Hey, Keith?
Yes.
I went to the doctor today. It was the end of my procedures, all the stuff with my bunged up legs and things, and getting the permission to go back to work deal. I got I'm not sure what you're doing, but whatever it is, keep going line from the doctor today, because my cholesterol numbers are down. And the one thing I don't remember the name of the test, but it's the one that talks about your the arthritis. Those numbers went down, and the doctor said, we just don't see those numbers going down. We don't even know. What are you doing? And I said to her, I just doubled the number of Immunocal Platinum I'm taking. I went from 1 to 2 a day. And that's all of the numbers that you're seeing from 6 months ago to today is because I went from 1 to 2 packets a day. And she looked at me and said, we're going to have to talk.
Was that CRP? Was that a C-reactive protein test, a CRP number? Was that the test?
It could be. I was thinking it had an A in the it was an A something. But again, my main goal was to make the comment that it's because I doubled my 1 to 2 packets.
Yeah.
So that's it.
All right,
I'll shut up now.
That's okay. So once again, because what we're talking about, often we to come back, there's a very simple, inexpensive blood test called a C-reactive protein test, a CRP test, and what that test shows is inflammation in your body. Okay, it doesn't tell the healthcare professional where it's at. It just tells them that you have ongoing inflammation issues. What's interesting with the CRP test is it's been known for now well over 20 years that your CRP numbers are a better indicator of future heart attacks and stroke than your cholesterol numbers. Okay? So, and this is well documented. You can go to the internet, type in CRP test or C-reactive protein, and do your own research on it. The CRP number will tell you how much inflammation is there and why it's a better indicator of future heart attacks and stroke than cholesterol numbers. So the question is, if this test is so effective and it's very, very cheap, why wouldn't everybody have a CRP test done when they had their blood work done? Because it's only like an extra $15 or something. Okay? So why wouldn't they do it? Because the question is if you come in and you have an elevated C-reactive protein number, which means that you're maybe at a high risk of heart attack or stroke, you're probably going to ask the doctor, well, what can we do? And as Dr. Gutman says, they don't like to shrug their shoulders and look stupid because there's nothing they can do, because there's nothing there that will do it except if you're on Immunocal and Immunocal Platinum, and particularly with our Immunocal Boost with the CRF2, okay, is that there's a great benefit to that, but the Immunocal and Immunocal Platinum will both lower your C-reactive protein numbers. We had people, some 10 or 15 years ago, we had about 20 people that went and had C-reactive protein test numbers done. Now, everyone that did this, and I think there was about 20 of them that did this when we talked about it, everyone had been taking Immunocal and Immunocal for a number of years at the time. Not a single person had a number above 1, okay? And Sandra's numbers were 0.03, okay? Now, what that means is anything below 0.3, okay? Mine was like 0.5 or 0.6, and there was a couple of others that were 0.7s and 8s and 9s, okay? Well, if you're 0.5 or less, you fall into a group of people that almost never have heart attacks or strokes. So when we have, and if you're at 1.0 or less, you fall into a group of people that are at low risk of heart attacks and strokes. And that's on the C-reactive protein test. Well, when I was talking with the doctors at the time, that at 1 or less is roughly 3 to 5% of the population. So the idea that you're going to have 20 people who are taking Immunocal and all go have it done, and they're all below 0.1, very, very unlikely. That's statistically not very likely. Okay. So that's one of the things you want to be looking at. So if you do have blood work coming up or you're going to have something done, have them pull a CRP test, C-reactive protein test. See what your numbers are. If somebody's concerned about their health, they got aches and pains and whatever, they want to know why they start taking this product and those aches and pains go away, is because it's reducing the inflammation. So, all right, who else has thoughts, comments, or questions tonight?
Can I make a comment on the CRP?
Yes.
There's actually a couple versions of that, and you want to ask the doctor for cardiac high sensitivity CRP.
Say that again, please.
You want to order a cardiac high sensitivity CRP.
Cardiac high sensitivity CRP test. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because those are fairly inexpensive. The regular CRP test is really very inexpensive. When we had them done back years ago, it was not an expensive test. So, as I recall, if you were having blood work done, it was only like an extra $15 or something to have that number, to have that pulled. So great information. Thank you for that. All right,
Dr. White, hello, Bob here.
go ahead, Bob.
Okay. Barbara, for the last 6 months, has been coughing up every morning, phlegm, coughing for a good hour. She's been several doctors. The pulmonary doctor now determined, she's been in the hospital, that it's not pneumonia. but she's having a test this week on the EKG and the bubble test. They claim that she's not getting enough oxygen to her cells. The lungs are clear. And she's getting oxygen tubes down her nose tomorrow, that little device. So what might you suggest?
Is she having breathing problems?
Yes.
It sounds like a restriction someplace, right? And the restriction, the restriction could be in just in the bronchial tubes and so on. You say there's no sign of pneumonia. So
no.
And he's suggesting the possibility of lack of oxygen. If it's really, I think, an inflammation issue, but just to get more oxygen, that's a simpler or easier. That's part of your extra sharp, right? That's part of that. But
yes, she's not doing any of that now because of the weather and just doesn't have the energy to move.
Yeah, we have in our kit, a number of things that are anti-inflammatory, and just go back to, for example, the booster. It is a helpful thing as well, because what you're trying to do is get take care of some free radicals, which is likely what the issue is, deep in there. So, is she taking anything yet, or anything now?
No.
The Immunocal is the first line of defense.
Yeah.
With the booster, and part of it too, I would suggest get some breathing exercises.
Yes, she's doing that. Yes.
Fill your lungs as deep as you can and expand that way. Do some physiology stuff. And
yes.
So the Immunocal plus the booster, and I really like to get back to extra sharp, but you can't get everything that you want, right?
And extra sharp increases the amount of oxygen in the blood supply.
It
relaxes the blood vessels, so it makes everything move.
The extra sharp. Yeah, I'll get her on that.
Yep.
Okay.
Half an ounce.
Good.
Half an ounce twice a day. Okay. All right. Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, or questions tonight?
This is Dr. Wilson again. And
yes.
I just checked my records. I do a CRP on every patient. And I just checked the records, and I pay $7.74 for it.
Okay.
It's really cheap.
It's $7.74. All right. Yeah. So everybody can afford to have that added. Okay. And they want to do that. I mean, you really want to know where you're at on these things. And, and that goes back, once again, I want to go back to one more thing. When you start somebody on Immunocal and Immunocal Platinum, particularly the Platinum, what you want to do is have them take a selfie. Take several pictures of their face, full face, and then particularly around their eyes. And then have them use the Immunocal Platinum, and about 3 to 4 weeks, have them take some more pictures, and they'll be able to visibly see the difference. They'll be able to visibly see that there's a difference in their skin and the way their eyes look. Okay? So they really want to be looking at that because that's once again an indicator of health. Okay, and so we want to be talking about that. All right. Who else has thought, comments, or questions tonight?
Hey, would the booster be some help if you won't take the Immunocal? Would you get some benefit from the booster alone?
Some, but once again, you can't. They need extra sharp because they lack mental clarity.
Yeah, I know. We've been through that before. Yeah. Okay.
But and this is something, Bob. I'm glad you brought that back up on it because once again, you can share this information with people, and that's all you can do. You can't take it for them, and you can't force them to take it. Okay. As I shared with people, my mother had cancer. I would mix the Immunocal up and hand it to her, and she would take it. And you can't do anything about that. When somebody's made up their mind not to do something, okay, you can't do it. You cannot do it for them. And as heartbreaking as that is, you cannot. All you can do is give them the information so that they can make an informed decision for them, because ultimately it's up to them.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, one of the visiting nurses, I've been talking to her, and she's showing interest in it and asking good questions. So that's planting seeds where she might pick up on that.
She might. You know, well, once again, it's like everything else. You know, you talk to people and they don't hear you, but then somebody else tells them exactly the same thing, and then they look at you and go, "Why didn't you tell me that?"
Yep.
You know? And that's when you have these funny facial expressions, and sometimes even hand motions. All right, who else has thought, comments, or questions this evening?
Hi, this is Tony from New York. How are you, sir?
Good.
Great. I don't know if she's on the line. She's a visiting nurse. And I just had a knee replacement done last week, Monday. And the two nurses that came, they were quite astonished by the fact that I had absolutely no black and blues on my leg. And she said, every patient that we come to, they have a lot of black and blues. And I had none, just a little swollen leg. And I'm recovering quite nicely. So I mentioned it to them. And she was quite intrigued. I don't know if she's on the line, don't want to put her on the spot, but she wanted to get the product right away. I said, why don't you come on the line and hear some comments and thoughts about what people have to say about Immunical. And I'm hoping that she would take this and share with other people, because this is something you can't keep a secret. I have seen the results myself and the recovery. Even my therapist is amazed by my recovery. So I thought I'd share that with you. I took the Immunical all the way up to the night before. I took 4 packs, 2 and 2.
Well, that comes back to the point, Tony, of the original research that led to Immunical was Dr. Bunos was doing research on proteins to try to find a way to shorten hospital stays. That was the original research that he was looking at, and then he came across Immunical, and it has all these other amazing benefits. But what does it do? It actually shortens the amount of time you need to spend in the hospital. It shortens the healing process. Okay, the healing time. We've seen it over and over again, and all the things that are there. It just always comes back to bear that what makes a good decision. Be on Immunical. Thanks for sharing that, Tony. Really do appreciate it. All right.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, questions tonight? Okay. Well, next week I think I'm gonna try to get my darling wife on the call again. I think as we go into the time of the year here where allergies are coming out and all the other things, and people are going to start going back out and start working on their tans and so forth. I think we'll do a little talking about the facial mask, using Immunical as a facial mask. And for those of you that are aware, they're making a change to the Immunical cream effective April the 1st. So it's going to be different. It's going to be packaged a little bit differently, and I'm being told that there's some improvements coming to it, but some people like the current version of it. So if you like the one you have now and want to get a couple of extra ones of them, you want to do that. I understand Canada, that's an issue because you guys are out of it already. But here in the States, if you like the current cream, and where that cream came from, just a little revisit a little bit of that. Back all those years ago when we first got started here, Sandra and a number of other ladies were taking Immunical and mixing it in cold cream and then applying it to their skin, and getting great benefits from that. And that's when Chuck Roberts and Dieter Beer and Gus Bunos and whatever looked at it and said, gee, we need to maybe look at this as a cream. So that's where that skin perfecting cream came from, was from people mixing it in cold cream and applying it, and now we have this great product with the Immunical skin perfecting cream. But they are coming out with a new and improved version of it, effective on April the 1st. But the one that's there now, like I say, I understand they're sold out in Canada already, but here in the U.S. it is still available, the other version, if you like that. So, all right. Any other thing? Anything else, Dr. White? Go ahead, Bob.
Technology is wonderful. I don't knock it. It does have its benefits. Now, if you want to lose weight, you can do what I did. I went in, I had heart surgery. They did a valve. They got me on 4 meds. I hadn't been on meds for 10 years. So I got on the meds. I lost my appetite, and I have lost 15 pounds in the last 3 months. So technology is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
There you go. There you go. All right. Okay. Anything else, Dr. White, as we wrap up the call?
No, I'm just looking forward eagerly to the on-the-go shake, because I got some real
those of you
things
that have
about
John
it.
Solider's email address, telling him to send him an email telling him he needs to bring on-the-go with him across the border when he comes. You know, pack another.
Hey, I can second that the shake is excellent.
Thank you for the...
Yeah, you're using the shaker. Have you made any ice cream yet?
Oh, you bet. That's the only way I've had it. I haven't had it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You converted me to the ice cream before I even got a chance to have it the first time.
Okay. And once again, you can go to xyztools.com. The recipe is there to make the shakes. And I like the chocolate, and is my favorite. And I add just a little bit extra of the of Hershey's chocolate to it, and it's still a low calorie treat. And once again, if it helps, what I'm seeing is very, very encouraging. Well, Lee, let me ask you: are you noticing that it's curbing? It's having a positive impact on your appetite?
Actually, I was going to have to implicate you in converting me to using these things just because of that. It really has changed changed how I feel about, when it's time to eat lunch, when it's time to eat dinner. I was, and I'm doing exactly what you were talking about. I make 3 packets up, and I put it into 3 containers, and I just do half of it at a time, and I just sit here and munch on half the ice cream for 30 or 45 minutes, and then an hour later I go eat, and it's been great.
Easier to make healthy food choices, right?
Well, if I was the kind of dude that would make healthy food choices, then yeah, it would definitely help. But,
all right. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
I'm eating less of the junk that I was eating before.
There you go. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Any other thoughts, comments, or questions as we run this evening? Okay. We want to thank all of you for taking the time to be here. Once again, we'll be joining you next week. Judy McDonald has her call tomorrow on the business side, and that's, you want to start looking at that business. Who are you helping? Okay. When I saw a quote from Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon is the head of Citibank, and 40% of the households in North America could not pay an unexpected $400 bill. So, do people need an opportunity to make some additional money? Certainly they do. What's the best way to do that is by helping with people with a product like we have here with Immunotec that makes people's lives better. With that, have a great evening, everyone. We appreciate you all very much, and we'll talk with you next week. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Keith.
Night.
Thanks. Night. Everybody.